guys, here are the chocks from off the breast hook, a little girl that I took off when we were down on the Cape last. And the one on the left has been pretty adequately sanded. I start with 150 grit sandpaper, and then I go to 220 grit, and then I go to steel wool, and then I go ahead and use a little of this Brasso. By the way, the Brasso is, I checked it out, it is also for bronze. Brass, copper, stainless, chrome, aluminum, and pewter and bronze. It doesn't work really well on bronze. It's, like I said, it's mainly a brass thing. That's what, as kind of obvious, that's what brass is all about. But anyway, tomorrow morning I'm going to get started on the other Chock here to the right, and try to get that one cleaned up and get it kind of all spiffy. Unfortunately, my old bench motor, I think, is shot. It's been out in the garage for a long time, and I think it's gotten rusted up. I'm not sure that it'll even work. But when I used to have my bench motor set up, I had buffing wheels on it, and boy, those are so nice to do this very kind of work. So, all right, well, there you go. We'll get started on the other Chock tomorrow morning, and we'll kind of get both of these cleaned up, and we'll be heading down for Cape Cod the Monday of Thanksgiving week, and these will maybe, if we've got the time and everything gets done as far as the putting the getting the toe rails and the breast hook all varnished up, we'll maybe get these back on. And by the way, the word I was looking for was cetol. That's instead of varnish. Obviously, the toe rails and the breast hook are going to be another coat of cetol, and preferably 3 total at least before it goes back in the water. So, all right, there it is. We'll get started on this in the morning. Well, guys, chalk up another little girl project. No pun intended. These are my Chocks. Newly refurbished. They're not perfect because the original castings were not perfect, but they're this is about as good as it gets. A long time ago, I tried mixing up this concoction of stuff, and you basically soak any of your bronze stuff in a bucket with this stuff. I don't even remember what was in it, but anyway, and try to use that to clean the crud off. But keep in mind here, the green dense patina, and I mean dense because it gets really thick. That gets on it. You can see some of it right here in these holes. Okay. Anyway, that stuff that gets on these from being out on the salt water, it's just about impossible to get off with some sort of cleaner. And by the way, Brasso really doesn't work. It's it's meant for other lighter stuff. Brass it works perfectly on, but not on bronze. Anyway, so My only way of doing it, and I've done it for ever since I had little girl, is to use sandpaper down through the coats. And you saw in my video there, yeah, I start with, generally I don't do any heavier than 150. I start with 150 and then go to 220 and then down to steel wool. And then I threw some Brasso onto these a little bit. It really doesn't work. I just put it on, let it dry, take it off. But then I go right back to doing some buffing with some steel wool. And this is about as good as it gets. Like as you can see, some of these marks on the inside of this are, I don't know where they came from. I didn't do those. These have been around a lot of years. These I'm sure are original equipment to little girl, which means that they're over 50 years old. So anyway, there we go. All right, good. I'm just gonna include this as the wrap-up part on my Chock project, and they're all done up here in Vermont, and they're going to be going back down to the boat when we go down for Thanksgiving.